Okay, so now let's discuss question 3. Okay, Batik Malaysia Airline is currently in the middle of changing its operation by developing a system to record its staff duties. Each duty is not the same for different type of staffs. Previously, the details of the duties were separated and not centralized. Hence, the management has decided to have a database management system, DBMS, according to these requirements. Okay, so the staff are divided into ground staff, flight attendants, and pilots. Okay, so it means we know that staff, there are three: ground staff, pilot, and also the flight attendants. And at the moment, this is what we understand lah. Okay, so if the staff is a pilot, the license number must be recorded. So means pilot, there is a specific attribute that they must have, which is the license number. For the flight attendants, their height and weight data must be in the database. So means flight attendant also have their own specific attribute. Okay, there are many ground staff, so means it doesn't record ground staff needs to have what? Need to have any kind of specific attribute. So means ground staff will not have the chala. Means staff is either they are ground staff is the normal staff, pilot or flight attendant. So means there are only two chala of the staff. Okay, so there are many, this is the relationship, there are many ground staff that will handle the operation of the flights. Okay, so ground staff, many ground staff, many flights. Okay, because there's S over here. Okay, so in a flight, there are many attendants. In a flight, there are many attendants on duty, and attendant will fly many flights. So means many attendants, many flights. So there must be a bridge lah in the middle in a month. And then there must be at least two pilots for each flight. And the pilot must have flew at least 50 hours per month. So that's the requirement lah. Okay, so the roles for each pilot and flight attendants will also be recorded for each flight. So means sometimes maybe you are just the co-pilot, maybe you are the pilot, maybe you are the normal flight attendants, maybe you are the captain of the flight attendants. Kan? So by right, your designation must be recorded lah over there. Okay, so what does it mean over here? So now let's look on ground staff, on the staff first. Okay, so you have the staff. Okay, so by right, what is the PK of the staff? So you need to record PK should be staff ID lah. Staff ID. So maybe you put 2 or 3 different attributes. Okay, maybe you have the staff name, staff salary, address. So up to you lah. Like I said, 2 or 3 is enough lah. Email. Okay, so by right we are done with the staff. Maybe another one we have staff type lah, because different type will have different work. Okay, so by right staff. So then we know that staff will have pilot or flight attendants. Okay, so by right there's a child of a staff over here. Okay, so what is the child? The first one is pilot, and the second one is flight attendants. Okay, so saya put as attendant lah. Okay, flight attendants. So first thing first, kan, after you have the child of this one, first thing first, please determine what's the PKFK. And so by right, it should be the parent's PK, which is staff ID. So that's the PKFK for all the child. Kan, PKFK. So the first one is staff ID. Then for pilot, what do you need to have? You need to have the license number. And then maybe here have the license number. Okay, and for attendants, there must be the attendant height and also their weight. Okay, so that's the only 2 things that is special to them, right? Okay, so what's the constraint on the inheritance over here? So if we take a look, it can be normal staff, pilot, or attendant. So means the parent here, this is the child, then the parent is an option. So when the parent is considered an option, then it has to be optional. Okay, then take a look at the child. pilot is equal to attendant or not? Attendant is equal to pilot or not? Of course, it is not equal, so it has to be or. Okay, so this is how we determine the constraint lah. This is how we determine the constraint on the inheritance. Okay, so now we are done with the stuff. This one, number 1, 2, and 3. Then there are many ground staff that will handle the operation of the flight. Okay, so by right, we know that there's a flight over here. And there's a flight over here. Okay, so what's the PK inside flight? Maybe you can put flight ID. Put a little bit more flight name. Okay, maybe other flight date. Okay, flight time. And anything else, the thing that you consider important. Okay, so then they will say there are many ground staff handle the operation of the flights. So many staff, many flight. No, when we have many to many relationship, you need to have the bridge table over here. So means they operate, so means maybe ada operation over here lah. Works and so what is the work? Then many ground staff work for many flight. Okay, so the bridge will always have many side. Okay, so what's the PKFK over here? The first one we take from the first table, which is staff ID. Then the second one we take from the second table, another PKFK, which is the flight ID. Okay, then we take a look lah. Like I said, staff, they said that there are many ground staff that will handle operations. So what is the task? What is the task of each staff for this flight? And then maybe ada task date. What is the date of the task and everything? Okay, so by that one staff will handle many flights, many work, and one flight will be has many works. Okay, so by that, let's say I put the relationship name is compulsory. So the staff does the work, and the flight has work. Okay, so one staff will handle 0 or many works. Why 0 or many works? Because not all staff will do the operation work. So by right, if they are pilot, of course they will not do the operation work. So that's why there must be 0 over here, because not all staff will do the work, the operation. Okay, but for each work there must be at least one staff. So that's why you have the minimum 1 also here. But for each flight there must be some ground work, at least one. If not, you have many lah. But at least there must be one ground work. Same goes, each work must have at least for a flight. How can you do any groundwork without the flight? So that's why the minimum number also here is 1. So it has to be 1 1 1 many 1 1 0 many. So this is for the work of the ground staff. Okay, so then the next one. So we are done with this one. So in a flight, there are many attendants on duty, and attendant will fly many flights in a month. So by right, attendants will have many flights. Each flight will have many attendants. So by right over here, there must be also a bridge between attendants and flight. There must be bridge also. So this one I put as rooster lah. Because they will fly many flights in a month. So by right, attendant will have many rooster. One flight also have the rooster. The bridge will always have many sides. So by right, what's the PK over here? The PKFK number 1 coming from staff ID. The PKFK number 2 coming from the flight. Flight ID. So why do we separate? Because remember, what's the question 1? Each duty is not the same for different type of staff. So that's why we cannot have only one bridge. Because we will record different things. We will record different things based on the type of the staff. Okay, so by right, another rooster over here. So of course we need to know this attendant what they work for this kind of flight. So maybe ada the designation lah, the rooster designation, and maybe the rooster date. Okay, so one attendant guard many rooster. One attendant guard many rooster, but of course the minimum number should be zero over here. Why? Not all attendant will fly. Kan maybe you are the teacher of the attendants. You are still flight attendants, but you are the teacher, but of course you not fly. Can you just teach? Cannot so bad, right? It has to be zero over here, and the each rooster must have an attendant lah. So of course there is no flight without any flight attendant. Okay. Then the next one flight will have many rooster. Can each flight must have the rooster. And that's why we put minimum one over here. Can minimum one over here. And this is also each rooster, there must be a flight. Can of course you assign the attendant to a flight. Kan sobat, right? The SB minimum has to be one also. Can remember to put the relationship name. It is compulsory. Can, and the last one, what do we have? The roles for each pilot and flight attendant. There must be at least 2 pilots for each flight, and pilot must flew at least 50 hours per month. Okay, so by right, you should know, pilot also, many pilot will fly many flight. Okay, so many to many relationship also over here. Okay, so by if you have many to many, like I said, we need to have the bridge over here. Okay, so now what the bridge is all about? It's simply put as operates lah. Kan, so by right, pilot will control the flight, put the relationship name first, control the flight, and each flight has operation lah. Okay, so by right, the same thing. What's the PKFK over here? The first PK coming from staff ID. Staff ID coming from where? Coming from the pilot over here, the PK. Okay, and the second one, the PKFK should come from the flight ID. Okay, flight ID. So then what do we put? Maybe the pilot designation lah. Kan dia sebagai co-pilot ke? Kan it is as a co-pilot ke? Or it is as a main pilot, the captain of the flight ke? Okay. Then another one, we take a look at the operation date. Kan maybe date. Maybe tengok how many hour. Kan because they need to complete 50 hours kan? So by right, you take a look. Like I said, the bridge will always have many sides, and not each pilot will fly the flight. Kan? So by right, it will be zero over here. Then each flight must have a pilot. Kan? It is impossible not to have a pilot. So that's why it has to be 1-1. This is one flight will have pilot also. Kan? But the minimum has to be one lah. Minimum. There must be at least one at least. Kan? So but even though we know that there's a 2 over here kan, but we can put as 1 over here lah. There must be at least a pilot. Kan? So the main number also has to be 1. Kan? Pilot must operate the flight. Takkan kau tak operate flight. So that's why we need to have 1 over here. Okay. So after you cut all of this, then take a look back at your requirements. The role for each pilot and flight attendant will also be recorded. So that's why attendant ada designation dia, role dia apa, operates also what is the role. Kan the pilot, kan what is the role, designation over there. So now we have finished all of the requirements. Okay, and this is your final ERD lah. Kan you find the ERD for this question. Okay, so it looks a little bit complex because of each staff will have their own bridge for a flight. And for each flight, there must be many ground staff. So what the ground staff will do, we record here. Okay, many flights will have many attendants. So that's why we have the roster of the attendants over here. And many flights will have many pilots. So that's why we have the operation bridge over there. And because like I said, remember, take a look back at the question. Each duty is not the same for different type of staff. So means we need to record it separately. Okay, so I hope you understand on this one.